Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. If you are a returning subscriber, you're the real OG, but if you're new here, you're totally welcome to stay. Okay, so if you watched my last video, you already know that I failed my first UK practical driving test, and that whole experience kind of shook me a little bit. I went in to do the test again, and this was on the 14th of October 2024, and I eventually passed the test. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing what I did differently the second time, how I remained calm on the test day, and also sharing some tips that might help you pass your test if you are preparing for your test. Just a quick recap on my first attempt. I had 3 serious faults which eventually made me fail the test. I'm not really going to go into details in today's video. If you want to catch up on that video, I'm going to link that video for you to watch, but let's focus on today's video. Before I took my second test, there were a couple of changes that I made to help me prepare for the second test, and of course I continued with my driving lessons. I did a couple of, I think, 6 to 8 hours more with my driving instructor, and I tried to focus on the serious faults that I had the last time, and one of them was awareness and planning. I made sure that I worked on my awareness and planning. So the second one is junction and awareness. So what I did basically was to drive around areas where there were like multiple junctions. So I tried, learning how to turn left, turn right, and basically observing all that is going on at junctions. The third thing that I worked on was my response to traffic lights and road signs, because that was a huge one for me, and I practiced around places or roads where you have multiple traffic lights. So I made sure that I practiced on that particular test route where I always got confused. I practiced there multiple times. I went over and over and over and over again, if that makes sense. And of course, road signs. I made sure that I became more aware of the signs on the road. Aside from those changes, the other thing that I continued doing was learning the different maneuvers that you would likely be asked to do on your test day, like maybe parallel parking, reverse bay parking, pull up on the left, emergency stop, all of those things that you might be asked to do on your test day. I became more familiar with those things. My test day routine and mindset, what I did basically was just mentally prepare myself for that day. Okay, I made sure that I practice the act of staying calm and also remaining confident. And on that particular morning, I made sure I had breakfast. I had a lot of sleep ahead of the day, and I think basically just reassuring myself that it's okay, it's just a normal day. I just told myself to just assume that I was basically just driving on a normal day with my driving instructor in the car, and also try to ensure that I practice the act of driving safely, because I think when you're driving safely, that kind of gives you some form of confidence and assurance that you're doing the right thing. Okay, so those are the things that I practiced, and that was how I went into the test day. So I'm not really going to go into full details of how the entire test went. Okay, I'm just basically going to tell you the key parts of the test. The first thing that was asked was the show me tell me question, and for the tell me question, the examiner had asked me to tell him how I would know that my indicator lights are working, and I did that perfectly fine. And the show me question was to show the examiner how I would put down my right windscreen, that's this windscreen here, and I did exactly just that. I did that perfectly. There were no issues. And of course, there were a couple of other maneuvers that I was asked to do, like pulling up on the left and pulling up on the right, and I was also asked to do reverse bay parking in a car park. The other thing was basically to follow directions using the sat nav. Aside the sat nav, the other thing was to basically just follow the instructions from the examiner himself. Like the examiner will basically just tell you, oh, on the third junction turn left, or on the third junction turn right. I did all of the things that I was asked to do without too much issues. Okay, there were a couple of minor faults here and there, but I didn't allow that to affect my confidence. But overall, I knew, or I had the sense, I had the knowing that I think I had passed. While I was driving, I knew, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna pass this test. Okay, I had that feeling because it was just positive vibes. It was just positive vibes because I was just driving safely, and that kind of gave me the confidence that I needed. I was just basically doing all of the things. When you say, oh, do this, do that, do that, do that, I was just doing everything, and I knew that this was it. When we pulled up in the test center, the examiner just said, congratulations, you've passed the driving test. I was so happy. I was excited. I was happy that I eventually passed the test this time around. For the minor faults that I had, I'm going to put that on the screen. So the first minor fault that I had was progress appropriate speed, and I had 3 minor faults for that. And the second minor fault was progress, undue hesitation. I had 2 points for that. And the last one, which is junction, approach speed, I had 1 point for that. In total, I had 6 minor faults, and that's okay. If you have 15 and below, you're totally fine, okay, in as much as you don't have any serious fault at all. As promised, I've written a couple of tips if you are currently preparing for your driving test. Okay, these are tips that helped me, and I just want to share them with you. The first one is to review your last test reports carefully. That's the only way you can understand why you failed the first time, okay? And yeah, so once you're able to review your test reports, you can then focus on the things that made you fail. Like if you had serious faults the first time, you just probably need to just work on those serious faults. The third point is to practice on a variety of road conditions. Try to practice when the road is busy and when the road is less busy. That way you won't be surprised when you eventually go for your test. The fourth one is to do at least one mock test under real conditions. If you have a driving instructor, maybe just explain to them that you need to do a mock test under the test conditions. The mock test is basically a simulation of the actual things that you'll be asked to do on the day of your test. Okay, you can do that with your instructor. They're already trained to do these things, so they will be able to help you out. The fifth point is don't rush with booking your test. I think I already said this in my last video. Don't rush. If you don't feel ready, you are not ready, okay? But if you feel like you are ready, then you probably go for it. The last point is to stay calm and breathe. Like, just breathe, drink water, have enough sleep, okay? And just try to relax your nerves. It's not the end of the world. It's not a war test or whatever. It's just a driving test, okay? They don't really have so much control over you. You should be in control of yourself and of your nerves on that particular day. So if you're able to practice all of this, I think you should be totally fine. Finally, if you recently failed your driving test, I just want to reassure you and let you know that it is totally fine, okay? Please don't give up. Do not give up. All you just need to do is to go back and work on yourself. Try to work on those things that made you fail the first time, and just go back and do the test. It's just a part of the journey. And I hope that me sharing my experience in this driving series has been of much help to you. So this is the last video in this series, but just let me know if you have any more video requests, and I'm happy to continue this series. If you have any comments, please feel free to share them in the comments section. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Give this video a thumbs up, and that's me saying goodbye.